Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our daily word this morning. Sorry, I am 8 minutes late today, but hopefully you have waited and choose to join me at this time, a few minutes late. It's the start of a new week, so I'm glad you could join me in our continuing quest to live through a daily word together and to share our lives together through Scripture and what it means for us. So, I'm always glad that you could carve out time to be with me. Thanks for always saying good morning or good afternoon, whatever it is you watch, and for just sharing your life with me. I so appreciate that you do that. And so, for our scripture for this daily word this morning, I believe it's number 718. I believe, but I could be wrong. Unfortunately, I didn't look that up, but I believe that we are at daily word number 718. I've chosen for our scripture Jeremiah 33, verses 14 through 15. And when I read these words, you probably recognize these important words. The days are surely coming, says God, when I will fulfill the promise I made to the house of Israel and the house of Judah. In those days and at that time, I will cause a righteous branch to spring up for David, and he shall execute justice and righteousness in the land. A righteous branch to spring up. On Saturday, we had a tree cut down in our front yard. When we moved there, it was kind of ugly, and it was a pine tree, and the branches had been cut up higher and higher and higher. And every year, more branches died. And so we have someone who's coming to redo our landscaping, spruce it up, tear out all the old stuff, make it look better. And I asked them if they could cut down that tree, and they said, of course. And so Saturday, they came and they cut down that tree, and they said, look, that stump's going to be there for a while because to rent a stump grinder is about $400. But if you wait till fall, and we've cut down more and more trees, which they have scheduled, by the time we get to fall, we can divide the cost between everybody, and it won't cost so much. I said, well, that's not a big deal. That stump can stay there. And so they cut it kind of low to the ground, and there are some plants around it, so you don't really recognize it. But there is that stump there. And I thought about it in relation to this particular scripture. Now, I would venture to guess that between now and when the stump gets ground out, no shoots will come up. But that tree, in spite of how bad it looked, still had some life left in it. There was still some pine sap running through it. My hands got sticky when I was loading the big pieces of wood into my trailer. And it was a reminder for me, thinking about that stump, when I walked over and looked at it, about that life is still left there, and persistent life is still left there. It's a reminder to me that God, through Scripture, all the way back to Jeremiah in this text, is persistent in the fact that a stump shall bear a righteous branch, and life will come forth from it. And it's persistent. And that's who God is in our lives. God is persistent with us. He continues to push us and to call to us and to shape our lives and to move us. God is persistent with us in our lives. And so there's a reminder for us as we begin a new week together that the God who helped bring that tree to life whenever it was planted all these years ago, the God who promises a righteous branch that will spring up for David from Jeremiah, the God who knows that we need persistent pushing and guiding and challenging in our lives. The God who knows that we have to keep things on our agenda. And God pushes us every day, every week, to hold on to the promises of God that we know are important and critical and powerful in our lives. And so I hope that as we start a new week together, that we'll just be aware of God's persistent call on our lives, and to know that from that stump that's not dead, a righteous branch will spring up in us if we just continue to keep it alive in us. And that's a word that we need to hear this day in our lives. So thanks for joining me for our time together. Thanks for always being with me and sharing your life with me. Know of God's love that surrounds you. Know of my love for you. And I will see you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Have a great day.